Good evening, everybody. It's a big night from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Tonight, the big concern is that the U.S. economy is in recession tonight. We learned the breaking news starting right now. It was back in the month of February that this channel and myself was the first channel to record that the U.S. economy would be going into recession in 2023. Back in the month of February, I reported that based upon the economic environment then, we're going into recession for 2 years, starting in January 2023. At the time, Wall Street, even banks, even the top analysts like the head of JP Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, said, I'm not going to say we're about a recession. They stayed away from the word. They didn't want to even mention the word. It all changed in the last few days. What happened? On Friday, the Atlanta Fed GDP Now released a tracking data. And that tracking data signaled that the U.S. economy may already be in recession tonight. What did that data show, and why did it change the notion of where this economy is heading? The data released on Friday signaled that the U.S. economy ended the month of June, the second quarter of the U.S. economy for this year, 2022, with negative GDP growth. Negative GDP growth would follow the second quarter of negative GDP growth this year. That would mean a recession. The first quarter down 1.8% and the second down 1%, said that Atlanta Fed tracker on Friday. That, of course, was the 3-day weekend. Well, we returned today with the start of the markets back open, and Wall Street resumed business this morning. They believed that we're not going into recession. They believed that we are in a recession. The Atlanta Fed tracking basically is live data, and they say that in advance of the July 28th announcement, they believe we're in a recession tonight. So what has Wall Street done? Wall Street has now embedded recession into the price of the market, and this is a big problematic issue at hand. The Dow Jones fell about 500 points to start the day, down 1.6% when the news broke this morning that basically this economy may be heading to a formal announcement of recession on July 28th. The S&P dipped at 500 points, 1.2%. And stocks were generally down. JP Morgan and Wells Fargo down 3% for the day initially. American Airlines down 4%, and machinery stocks fell as well. The reason at issue, the July 28th announcement from the Department of Labor is going to signal that the U.S. economy is already in recession. What a shocker. February, no one was talking about recession except me. A few weeks ago, someone was really still talking about recession generally. And then last Friday, the worry that recession will be announced on July 28th. And tonight, the belief that we already are in a recession. When you turn over the bond yields flipped. The 10-year Treasury and the 2-year Treasury yield inverted on Tuesday. The inversion of the bond yields is generally an indication you're heading into recession. Over to oil. People have been asking me with private messages all day long, why have oil prices dropped dramatically? They said, is it because of the traders? Yes, they believe that there's going to be an economic slowdown. They believe there's a recession. So that's why the price of oil, which after the Memorial Day weekend was $120 international Brent crude, fell under $100 today. The lowest level we've seen on the channel since arguably February. And then corporate earnings continue to fall across the board. This is basically a big warning signal for you to get those forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. The warning signal is that this economy is falling apart very quickly, shrinking dramatically, downturning dramatically, and the speed at which it's screeching to a stall, to a halt, is faster than anyone projected. What do you need to do? You need to become a member. Go right in this video and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Casino VIP. Number 2, get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. And then get ready to get those forced stimulus checks in the second half of this video. Become a member and get those checks later in this recording because we're in a recession, says the markets tonight. Let's go back to the concerns we're seeing left and right as we go into a big night across the board. Wall Street believes that based upon the events that are unfolding very quickly, a recession's underway, and that's why they embedded that pricing into the markets. Number 2, they also believe that it could actually get much worse. We had data that came in not just from Wall Street, but also from corporate America today. And what did that data say to us? Here we go. Corporate earnings came in today for Ford, down 5%, when the automaker's second quarter sales rose slower than expected. DocuSign and Zoom were beat, and they came in at 5% higher for the day. Recessionary concerns were detailed in a new report obtained by LALATE News from Credit Suisse strategist Jonathan Golub, who says that he thinks the U.S. economy could still avoid a recession, but that there's big issues in hand. The recessions are most likely characterized by a meltdown of unemployment accompanied by an inability of consumers and businesses to meet their financial obligations. But is he accurate? Well, not necessarily, because there's lots of different recessions for lots of different purposes. We're going to look at Thursday. We're going to look at Friday to see if he's right. On Thursday, we're going to see the new jobless claims. 230,000 new jobless claims per week, not good. 3 consecutive weeks at 230, and if it grows even more, then we have big problems. Economists are expecting the unemployment rate to hold at 3.6%. I'm not. I'm expecting it to go higher. On Friday, the jobs data number is released. That is the number of projected non-farm payroll jobs added to this economy, expected to slow to 250,000, down from 390 in the month of May. Employment will go through a series of stages. 1, layoffs. 2, hiring freezes. 3, store closures. And it's already underway. Meantime, why is oil down so dramatically? Oil's down because they're pricing in the risk of an economic slowdown. Rittenberg and Associates attribute the move to a tightness in global oil balances increasing dramatically tonight, being countered by a strong likelihood of a recession that has begun to curtail oil demand, says their memo released today. The oil market appears to be homing in some weakening in the markets and demand for gasoline and diesel. What is the analysis tonight? This is where it gets really interesting. Very, very different analysis based upon who's asking. We have Citibank today saying that Brent crude, your international price of Brent crude, which was 120 after Memorial Day weekend, could drop to $65 a barrel. It's currently at 113 tonight. It was 110 earlier today, actually went to 99. Goldman Sachs, on the other hand, says that international Brent crude will hover a lot higher, surge to 140. Which part of the coin am I on? I've been saying for a few weeks, and I'm not changing my position. Even if we go into recession, I believe the international price of Brent crude is going higher. Financial markets are trying to price in a recession. Physical markets are telling you something quite different. That is a comment by Jeffrey Curry, Global Head of Commodities Research at Goldman Sachs, obtained by LA News Tonight. Here's what you need to know, and this is very important. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but here is the dichotomy. Half of the financial analysts say that if we go in a recession, gasoline prices drop. The other half of the analysts say if we head closer to recession, the gasoline prices go higher. And I say that as gasoline prices go higher, they send you a recession. What are the takeaway? You can get both parts of the equation. You can have gasoline go up and it sends you a recession, and then it goes down. Or you can have gasoline go down and you can still go in a recession. So let's make very clear. Gasoline is not the determining factor of whether you definitely go in recession or not. Most analysts, and myself tonight, believe you're in a recession. The Atlanta Fed GDP now is a live tracker. It looks at the economic activity on a live basis. And its announcement last Friday is following 20 years of 100% accuracy. Every time they reported a negative GDP event, they've gotten it right. They report that the second quarter ended negative GDP growth. A recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. The first one was negative. We already know that. So the second one, well, Atlanta's Fed GDP now says it was negative. The official announcement comes July 28th, but here's how quickly the news cycle has changed on this channel. Over the weekend, I said the financial cliff is going to hit potentially earlier than September. Now, July 28th. Is the financial cliff hitting tonight? Let's go over the equation. The financial cliff involves a change of this economy from a status quo to another event, and that other event was unanticipated. What is that other event? Obviously, a recession is an example of another event. And that financial cliff was discussed between these two people, Liz Warren, the senator from Massachusetts, and Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, last week at the Banking Committee. She said in pursuing the reduction of inflation to obtain price stability, is it possible you send this economy over a financial cliff? And he said it's very likely. Now, let me explain how dramatically everything has changed. And it feels like it's really moving very fast and it's speeding up every day. It is. Back in the month of February, I said we're going to recession next year. Then, when Jay Powell testified on Capitol Hill for Liz Warren and spoke about that financial cliff, I said the financial cliff is likely September because this economy is going to slow very dramatically. And the phases of this economy you're going to, I said just last Thursday, is a series of 3 phases. Now to September, September to January, and then from January on is the recession. Those were the 3 phases we talked about at the time, but tonight it's very likely that the phases are already getting inverted. Here's what we were looking at just days ago. Last Thursday, before the Atlanta GDP number was released, we were talking on this channel about the slowing this economy between now and September. Then a recession in January in phase 3. But before you get to the recession, a financial cliff. That was Thursday. Then what happened? On Friday, the Atlanta Fed GDP number was released and signaled that by July 28th, you're in a recession confirmed. Well, suddenly phase 3 was now into phase 1. But we still believed that we had a financial cliff coming to us in a few more days, no less than 25 days away, potentially on July 28th when the announced recession comes across broadcast news. But tonight, Wall Street ain't waiting to July 28th. Tonight, what is Wall Street doing? They're believing that recession has hit. The impact on stocks, the impact on bonds, the impact on oil, and the impact on the euro tonight is being felt across the board. Let me go over the breaking news starting right now. There is not a single financial market that does not believe a recession risk has to be embedded. In fact, they've all now embedded that recessionary risk into their markets. In the case of stocks, Ford was a major miss today. Wall Street is expecting a 3.3 to 5.1% growth. On revenue side, it was a miss, coming in at 1.8% revenue sales, and that's why the stock was down 3%, hitting a 52-week low. Energy stocks down dramatically. Remember, energy stocks were the great buy as oil went through the roof. They're no longer in that situation. Energy stocks down 8% just today. And that as the international price of Brent crude fell under $100, a level we've not seen in many, many months. Marathon, Halliburton, ExxonMobil, all generally down 4% today. You see the bloodbath? Stocks taking a major hit because they believe a recession is already underway tonight. Hewlett-Packard, the computer company, down 2.1%. Let's go over the bonds. The bond market also believing a recession is underway when the inversion curve happening once again. By midday Tuesday, the 2-year Treasury yield inverted with the 10-year note, and that generally indicates a recession's happening. I don't know if in and of itself it's a recessionary indicator, but there's a battle between inflation and growth at the Fed, and inflation is still killing growth, says Gregory Farnell, head of U.S. rates at Emervet Securities. Jay Powell was asked about the inversion curve, and he said, I'm not really worried about it. What is he really worried about? I'm really not sure. Let's go to the global markets. As if this was not bad, the markets that we're dependent upon as a symbiotic relationship continue to fall apart. Bank of England said that the global economic outlook has deteriorated materially in the last few days and warned of future possible downside. It's right now to lock in resilience because we're well prepared for the future of the shocks. What a big, bad statement. Here's what you need to know. You got to get those forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. You got to get the money of these forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Imagine how quickly we have transferred from what we thought was a looming recession to a recession that's already potentially 25 days away to tonight believing the recession has already arrived. What is my position? I believe that the recession has already arrived. I believe that the recession is already underway in this U.S. economy. That is why we have to err on the element of caution. We always err on caution on this channel. And you can't wait to believe that the recession's next year anymore. You can't wait to believe the financial cliff is in September. You got to believe it's all happening tonight. And that's why you have to get that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Go into this video right now and join the channel. Become a member. where it says join the channel and get that incredible membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. We'll be going over how to get these wonderful checks later in this recording. What's important to remember is that these 4 stimulus checks are federal stimulus. Let's go over a preview of those checks starting right now. In the month of March, the federal government, namely the White House, the executive branch, did a series of executive orders and passed these 4 stimulus checks, did not require an act of Congress. These 4 stimulus checks are several of them, and they amount to at least about $100,000. And you generally qualify. Longtime viewer Kat says, LA, you do really well when it comes to eligibility. I'm focused on eligibility because I want to make sure that you get this money. Back in the month of March, viewer said, LA, can you find us some 4 stimulus checks? Can you find us money? You always taught us to find money when times are good, not to wait till times are bad. And in the month of March, I found these checks. In fact, I immediately announced them to the members of this channel as soon as they became a law that night from Joseph Biden by executive order. No act of Congress, no vote needed. Series of checks, and let's go over that eligibility right now. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get them. Married couple, if you make $150,000 less, go get them. If you rent, if you own, go get them. If you are on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, and more, go get them. When I say they're in every U.S. state, that's my idiomatic way of speaking. I'm basically saying they're everywhere. They're federal stimulus. They're not paid by your state. So this is not money from your state. This is not money via a state law. This is not anything your governor did. This is not anything your state legislature did. This is federal stimulus. It's the same stimulus all across the land, and you go get it later in this recording tonight. Now, it's important to understand that the changing dynamic of this economy may leave a lot of people blindsided. Imagine tonight that you, as a viewer of this channel, watch on a daily basis. And I was telling you in February we're going to recession next year. I was telling you on Wednesday last week we're going to recession next year. Then I had the Atlanta data coming in on Friday. I said, well, we may have a confirmed recession by July 28th. Tonight, 3 days later, I'm reporting to you that Wall Street has pivoted so fast, so quickly, that they believe the recession has already begun. Look at what a financial cliff means. A financial cliff means you're walking along singing a song and you don't know that things are going to change. And imagine how much you've been on top of it by watching the videos of this channel on a regular basis. And yet the story cycle, the news cycle, has changed so dramatically about this recession so quickly in just a few days. Imagine how one tracker out of Atlanta changed the whole likelihood of where this financial cliff is. No longer we're going to err on caution, but no longer we're going to wait to think it's in September. We have to believe it's right now. And when it's right now, this is what's going to happen. Americans will not be prepared. They will not know it's coming. They will not have prepared their bank accounts, their livelihood, or anything for what's happening. And the situation will leave them blindsided. You're not going to do that because you're going to prepare. I'm going to go over everything what you need to do to prepare your family for the impending massive recessionary environment. What do you need to do to prepare for something like this starting right tonight? Well, a series of events. You need to understand where this economy is going to go, where it is, and what would happen in just a short period of time. First, you should expect in the next 90 days that consumer confidence is going to slow fast. Spending is going to shrink quickly. Income is going to shrink. So if you're a small business owner, this is going to impact you dramatically. Price of goods that you pay for at the supermarket are likely to track higher. So if you're on benefits like SSI and SSDI and you think inflation has peaked, it is not. Recessionary winds will pick up, and of course, this graphic is several weeks old. Recessionary winds will grow from a whisper of it, actually from me, only one talking about it, to then a whisper of it, to now a lead story every night on every channel. Unemployment will surge. Gasoline prices, this is a mixed bag. We already saw that. Some people believe it's going to shrink. Some people think it's going to go up. And then interest rates are definitely going to rise up. The Federal Reserve is going to meet in just a few days from now and raise those interest rates And that is because the CPI is going to track higher as well. The issue is that this economy is changing so dramatically, and you can't wait for where it's heading. You need to move right tonight across the land. Now, let's turn to one of the situations we addressed early in this recording and the breaking news on that front tonight as well. It's gasoline. Gasoline is so important to this economy, but I want to make it very clear to you, it's a very confusing subject tonight. As I detailed earlier to you, gasoline may go through the roof up if we go into recession, and may go through the basement if we go into recession. Some analysts believe it will fall dramatically. Other analysts think it'll zoom through the roof. I'm on the side of Goldman Sachs. I'm not on the side of Citibank that thinks it's going to fall. Goldman Sachs and myself believe it's going to go up a lot. I believe it will have a lot of volatility along the way, but there's two different analyses to the front. Now, what is important to understand for gasoline is that gasoline impacts inflation. Gas and inflation impacts the Federal Reserve. This is where, if you don't know, my recordings are not prepared. So a lot of this is just as it comes out of the mouth. This is where it gets really interesting with the Federal Reserve. If Goldman Sachs and LALATE get it right and gasoline prices continue to go up or stay high, then Jay Powell and the Federal Reserve will see a higher inflationary number, and they're going to raise those interest rates. If gasoline prices drop, as Citibank projects, then the inflationary number will drop, and Jay Powell may pull off the foot of the gas on raising those interest rates. This is really interesting tonight. I believe that Jay Powell is still going to do that 3/4 basis point increase in just a few days from now. But what's important to understand is that the narrative for gasoline is changing dramatically because of this guy, the President of the United States. He continues to say a series of statements which now, as weeks go on, more Americans are starting to realize what he's telling them is not true. It's not a good look when the President of the United States is giving you wrong economic data, and wrong economic data that's so wrong that even a high schooler realizes is wrong. Let's go over the equation. When Putin invaded Ukraine, gasoline prices went up. Why? Because the U.S. and the Western allies embargoed Russian oil. They banned it. The Western allies are Germany, France, England, and similar. The agreement was to ban Russian oil. When you remove oil, there's less oil. When there's less oil, the price of gasoline goes up. Pretty simple? Yes, a high schooler understands this. Going into the weekend, the President of the United States addressed a NATO conference, and he said, the price of gasoline is high because of Putin. It's not really an accurate statement. The price of gasoline went up because Putin invaded Ukraine, but has not remained up because of Putin. It's remained up because of Joseph Biden, Emmanuel Macron, head of President of France, Boris Johnson, head of England, and Chancellor Scholz, head of Germany, because they understood they were banning Russian oil. They did not go out and buy the missing oil. How much oil is missing? 3.5 million barrels of gasoline are missing. Now, this is the second narrative the White House is not working well with the American people with. The president keeps on saying that we have enough oil here in our soils to replace it. People are starting not to believe it. The president says ExxonMobil is to blame for the rising price of gasoline. Americans are starting to realize ExxonMobil does not have 3.5 million barrels of gasoline in the ground. It doesn't exist. Then the President of the United States said, I'm giving a little bit of breathing room to the American worker by potentially proposing a tax holiday on the taxes you pay to the federal government for gas at the pump. Americans didn't really listen to it, and they really didn't believe it. Why? Because immediately they ran the numbers. Americans run numbers. How much is that tax? 18 cents. How many gallons of gas are in the car? 10. That's $1.80. You're giving me $1.80 and you're talking about it so wonderful? They're not buying it. And here's what's also not being bought is the release of the strategic reserves. First announced by the White House months ago, the president released 1 million barrels a day for 6 months. At the time, I said it wasn't going to work. It didn't. Gasoline prices shot up. 2 nights ago, the president of the United States applauded himself once again, saying it was a great achievement. It hasn't worked. And as the president continues to tell the American people things don't work, they look at the price of the gasoline at the pump. They realize what he's saying is not working. So they may not understand what the part of the equation was. But here tonight, let's go over what Wall Street is saying about the same situation. Wall Street's getting a little problematic about it now. They're now starting to worry. if the White House really believes the false narrative it's saying, or whether the White House is filled with bad economic advisors. It's hard to really gauge other people's opinions. My opinion of the situation is the White House is filled with really bad economic advisors. They're not advising the president whatsoever the correct narrative. And he continues to repeat things which I think he has been told are correct that are really just not economically correct whatsoever. Takeaway, 3.5 million barrels of gasoline missing per day. Until you go buy that gasoline, it's not going to be replaced. You can talk about other things, but Americans understand until you replace the gasoline, it's not going down. Gasoline prices remain high, sends you to recession. Gasoline prices remain high, raise inflation, because inflation is composed of two components: price of goods you pay for at the market and gasoline. If inflation remains high, then Jay Powell raises interest rates. As Jay Powell raises interest rates, as he says, he's trying to slow the economy. Slowing the economy is negative GDP growth. And negative GDP growth is, if it's over 2 consecutive quarters, a recession. It's pretty simple. It's not that complicated. It goes all the way back to Joe Biden, Chancellor Schultz, Emmanuel Macron, and Boris Johnson, and their failure to get the missing gasoline bought. Tonight, there's no change of policy. Tonight, they're not buying the gasoline. Tonight, as long as they don't buy the gasoline, the price of items continue to track higher. That's why you have to get the forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. You have to presume that the financial cliff is here. You have to err on caution and believe that a recession's already underway. And you have to believe that Jay Powell's not going to get it right, as I said, for months on end, that raising interest rates is not going to reduce inflation, as it has not. And you have to presume that Joe Biden and the Western allies' failure to buy the missing gasoline are going to send you a recession. That's what's happening tonight. All we know tonight is that Wall Street sees the movement very dramatically. Wall Street clearly understands that this was an economy that was very robust just weeks ago, and tonight it's no longer there. That growth of this economy earlier this year, not there. And what's likely to happen this week? My projections this week is that the Friday jobs number is going to be a miss, and that the Friday job creation number, released once a month, is going to make Joseph Biden angry. It has previously made the president angry when he sees the number, because he wants to take credit for job creations. If there is no job creations, then the economy is slowing. And if there's loss of job creations, then a recession could be looming. In the second half of this video, we have a big surprise. And that big surprise is some really great news. For the first time on this channel, in nearly a year, we have details of the Build Back Better Act, its substance. The Build Back Better Act is back, baby. It's going to get passed, says insiders, both on the Republican and the Democratic side. But tonight, for the first time ever, we have details of what are the provisions in the Build Back Better Act, what is likely to survive, and what is likely not survive. Tonight, we have new insight of where this is and what's happening. What I need you to understand going into the commercial break is you cannot wait for Build Back Better Act to pay you money. Why? Because the financial cliff is coming, or the financial cliff has already arrived. You need to get that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Become a member. Go right on this video right now and join the channel. There's a button on the channel under the video where it says join the channel. Join it today, right now, and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Get the membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. And in the second half, we're going to go over those forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Also in the second half, we're going to go over the Build Back Better Act, and then we'll touch on the raising up of your benefits from SSI and SSDI and veterans benefits and more. But would the benefits be raised up less if gasoline tracks lower? Well, the latest details tonight. It's a big second half, and from the shores of Santa Monica, California, we're just getting started. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. See you back in 60 seconds. Don't forget to become a member during the commercial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community.
The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And good evening. It's a beautiful night here along the coast for July 5th, 2022, and a fourth stimulus check is in every U.S. state. You need to get it. You cannot wait because this economy is slowing very quickly, very dramatically. Did you become a member during the commercial break? Do it right now. Go into the video where it says join the channel. Click the link and become a member of this channel. Get the membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the member alerts. And in the second half, we're going to go over all these incredible checks starting right now. It's important to understand what the checks are, how they happened, and how you get them. We're going to go over all that details starting now. Four stimulus checks were done by the President of the United States by executive action back in the month of March. As soon as he announced them, they were featured on this channel. They're a lot, averaging about $100,000 a single individual and even more for married couple. Let's go over all the details you need to know. First, these are federal fourth stimulus checks. They have been law since the month of March. They're federal. The President of the United States did it by executive action, didn't need an active vote of Congress, it did not need a vote. Number two, it's not state stimulus. It's not from your states. It's not via state law or state funds. So you don't like your state doesn't help, you think, well, you're probably right. But this is not from your state. It's from the federal government. Number three, the money's been around since the month of March. Viewers have gotten it, and they've gotten lots of the money. If you just found this channel tonight, welcome. But you need to move very quickly because this money is not going to be around very long. Then, longtime viewer Kat says, LA, you do eligibility really well. I'm very focused on eligibility to make sure you know that you can get this money. Let's go over the eligibility of these checks starting right now. Single individual, $75,000 less annual income, go get them. Married couple, $150,000 less annual income, go get them. If you rent, if you own, if you're on benefits, if you're not on benefits, if you're on SSI or SSDI, if you have children, if you don't have children, go get these big checks. Next, these checks are enormous. I focus on big checks because I need you to be financially independent as this financial cliff hits, as this recession hits. You need big sums of money. And finally, I need you to forget everything you remember from first, second, and third stimulus. It's a different year. It's 2022, and this is how checks are done today. You got to move to groove. You got to learn to earn. You got to do something to get something. And no one is going to give you $100,000 unless you do the work. And it's not that particularly difficult. As longtime viewer Carol says, LA, you make it so simple. You put it together in a simple newsletter and deliver it to them. All they have to do is press a series of buttons, and you are just helping them so much. Thank you, Carol, for those very nice comments. Let's go over these incredible checks one at a time. And boy, they are huge. We're going to go over each check one item at a time, and let's look at them starting with check A. It's a $6,500 to $6,500 to $12,000 fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get them. If you are on benefits, SSI or SSDI, veterans benefits, go get it as well. How do you get it? Step one, go under the video and subscribe. Step two, go under the video and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Casino VIP member. Join the channel. Then get that membership newsletter via the member alerts Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and go down till you find Check A. Click the link and you go in there and pound. So send you into the nationwide website. You choose your state and you choose the homeowner's weatherizing grant check. And there you go. But you're not going to stop there yet. Nope, you're going to go get Check B. Check B is a wonderful $15,000 to $80,000 for a stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, or go get it. How do you get it? You know the routine. Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, go under the video where it says join the channel. Step 3, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Casino VIP, and get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alerts. Go down to Check B in the newsletter and click the link for Check B. It'll send you right into the nationwide website. You do it, and then you choose your state. There you go. It's called the Homeowner's Grant Check. Look how wonderful we've done. We have just only done 2-3 minutes of this, and we've gotten $12,000 for Check A. We've gotten upwards of $80,000 for Check B. We're at $100,000, and we're just getting started. Wow. Here we go. Check C. Check C is so important. It is a monthly stimulus check on average, $2,000 a month over 12 months, but many viewers are tracking at about $45,000 on average. Several viewers have gotten over $150,000. How do you get Check C? Subscribe, join the channel as a member where it says join the channel, then get that incredible membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and go down to where it says Check C. It'll tell you who to call, what to say, and when to say it. Check C, in my opinion, is the most important checks of 2022. Why? Because there's a financial cliff happening, or about to happen, or has happened. There is a recession about to happen, or has happened. And millions of Americans are not prepared for what's about to hit them. And I believe, in my opinion, that a lot of them don't know that the stimulus items of 2020 are gone. Americans may believe they cannot be evicted. They can. And if you're facing eviction, go get some money for rent, some Check C's. If you are worried about a mortgage foreclosure, bank foreclosure on your home, then go get some wonderful Check C's for mortgage assistance, because there is no mortgage forbearance anymore. What about the utility company? Unable to pay the electric bill, the water bill, the heating oil, the gas, because it's going through the roof? Well, they can turn off the service this time around. It's not 2020. Go get some Check C. The success stories of Check C date back to 2020. That's how long we've been doing it. And then it became third stimulus. But boy, viewers have got a lot of money. It's part of the $50 million that this channel has gotten viewers since it started on April 25th, 2020. Let's look at the success stories and what you should do as well. Here's the numbers for Check C. Do you want $20,000 from Nisi to Richard at $22,000, all the way to Nancy and Elizabeth at $30,000? Do you want this money for Check C? Go get it for rent. Do you want $5,000 like Angela, all the way up to $7,000? Even Mark's brother-in-law, $15,000 for utilities. Go get Check C. Snap. Viewers have gotten $25,000 a year over 10 years, like Mark's brother-in-law. That's $250,000. Combinations. Nisi, Mark, Lorraine, Johnny. Nisi, Mark, Lorraine, Johnny, and others continue to get a combination of checks. That's what you should be doing as well. They're all in the live chats on a regular basis, and they keep on going and getting checks. That's what you should be doing. Let's look at Nisi and Mark first. Nisi went from $23,000 to $50,000. Mark went from $32,000 to $166,000. He went to 50, then he went to 100, then he got check B. Lorraine, she was at 105, now she's at nearly 155,000. That's what these viewers do. That's what I teach you to do. You're going to get money today, and you can continue to get money. 3 things you must do. Know where this economy is, where it's going, and get money. 3 things you need to prepare for your family. Know where this economy is, build up the savings by getting stimulus on a regular basis. Keep on getting money every few days. And then tracking where this economy is. Reducing adjustable rate debt like credit card debt or car loans. Switch it to fix if you can, and get ready, because it's going to be a very bad situation very quickly. Let's recap. Number 1, Subscribe. Go right on this video, hit that subscribe button. This is LALATE, the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, with a brand new look coming in less than 90 days. You're going to be very excited. I'm very excited. Number 2, join the channel. Under the video, it says join the channel. Become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Then hit that bell. At the front of this channel, there's a little bell. Hit that bell to make sure it's set to all notifications. And let's go to that newsletter. Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alerts, you'll get an alert that says new LA post. First, it's 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Know your time zone. If it's not West Coast time zone, then know the difference for you. It's 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Find out what time that is for you. Number 2, it will send you an alert that says new LA post, and the first line will say the membership newsletter. You go down in the alert, and then it says click here to go to the post. You click it, and it sends you into the post. You go down to where it says check A, check B, check C. You bounce. You get this money right away. You don't wait to get this money. And finally, it's important to remember that if you have a cell phone and you use YouTube from your phone, remind the phone or make sure the phone is set so it remains signed into YouTube. If your phone is signing you out of YouTube, then it's not going to recognize you or recognize your membership. Make sure you stay signed into YouTube. If you don't know what that is, then reach out to your cell phone carrier to ensure your phone remains signed in. In the case of a desktop computer, then always remain signed in as well. Big news tonight. The big news tonight is that the Build Back Better Act is back, baby. My goodness. Really exciting details. But we're going to go over whether it's back better or whether it's back different. Here's your first look tonight on the Build Back Better Act. It's the first time in over 1 year that I have a substantive update on what's in the Build Back Better Act. First, I'll go over what's going on, then go over the contents. The negotiations between the Build Back Better Act have continued week after week, month after month. Earlier this year, I detailed that Joseph Manchin, the senator from West Virginia, and Chuck Schumer, the majority leader of the Senate from New York, had been negotiating the Build Back Better Act on a regular, daily, even weekly basis. Those negotiations continued and were going positively. Both individuals really admired each other because they're very blunt. The negotiations continued, but they were not giving us updates. We got an update just days ago, before the 4th of July weekend, when Joseph Manchin's team confirmed that he agreed to cheaper prescription medication. This is a big win by Chuck Schumer. So it got it in there. This was a big get by Chuck Schumer. He got Joe Manchin to agree to it. Number 2, Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer both agreed that they're going to get the Build Back Better Act done. Number 3, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer both in a joint statement to press say that the Build Back Better Act vote will happen in late July. Number 4, the latest details tonight are fascinating. And what's brand new tonight? We're starting to see the criticism of the Build Back Better Act heating up because it's near finished. When you see more Republicans going out and talking about something that they're unhappy with, it means it's closer to the finish line. But you don't have to bet on not my projections. You can go on their statements. The Republicans are now saying the Build Back Better Act is close to finish. Wow. Now, let me go over the source of tonight's information, and let me give you caveats so you understand what it's coming from. During the thick of the pandemic, one of the senators we detail a lot on this channel was Brady. And Brady is, House members. And Brady, Representative Brady, is a person who had very peculiar thoughts about how to deal with the pandemic. He was not big on stimulus, let's just say it that way. He is a member of the House Ways and Means Committee. He's a Republican. And he was against really almost the first stimulus package, the second stimulus package, against a lot of stuff. So tonight, he has given us a lot of insight. Why? Because in trying to criticize the Build Back Better Act, he's telling us, in his opinion, 1, how close it is to the finish line, 2, what's in there. So he says it's about to be passed, number 1. Number 2, he's telling us what's in there. He says that the vast majority of the provisions that were then in there before are still in there, just slimmed down. This is breaking news tonight. He describes the Build Back Better Act in number value at around $1 to $1.5 trillion, with a July passage, but a smaller bill in terms of valuations. How small is it tonight based upon his representations? Well, it never survived the $5 trillion price tag of Bernie Sanders. That never survived. We didn't even have that last year. It got down to about the low $2 trillion. Last time we saw numbers floating around. Joe Manchin said he wanted 1.5. Brady tonight claims that it's somewhere between 1 to 1.5. That makes sense. Also, he tells us tonight what is in there and what has survived. And the vast majority of items we had heard about before in 2021 on this channel are reportedly still in there. Let's look at some of those provisions. The provisions for energy, the provisions for the home, the provisions for seniors, the provisions for health, all are still reportedly in there. For example, he says for individuals who make $500,000 or less per year and are a 65-year-old couple, they will get a $6,000 check, a credit towards a health care subsidies provision added in there. Imagine a $6,000 check is in there. He says the $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle is still in there. He says a lot of the provisions that we talked about as tax credits, like the earned income tax credit, the child care credit, or things like that, are still in there. And what's important to understand is that this is really exciting across the board. Let me give you my opinion based upon the number value of $1.5 trillion. Ultimately, the $1.5 trillion is not a confirmed number. Number one, 1.5 trillion is not a confirmed number. It's not coming from Chuck Schumer's mouth. It's coming from a criticism of the Build Back Better Act. So it may be more than 1.5 trillion. Let's assume it is 1.5 trillion, the whole price tag of the Build Back Better Act. Then if it is $1.5 trillion, there's enough place in there to give you multiple stimulus checks. $15,000, $80,000. Yes, there's a lot of room in there. Is there room in there to give you a monthly reoccurring check to every American citizen of about $7,000? Absolutely not. If it's $1.1 trillion, $7,000 every American citizen, we can't do that. Now, remember back in 2020 when we talked about the leftover SBA money that Donald Trump could repurpose as a stimulus check. We said it would cost about $500 billion for a $3,000 stimulus check one time. $500 billion for a $3,000 stimulus check. So if the whole package is $1 trillion, obviously you can't send out $6,000 to every American because there will be nothing left. So there's absolutely positively enough room to get you multiple checks. The ability to get you monthly recurring checks, not going to happen at a $1.5 trillion price tag, which again is not confirmed tonight. Which is bringing us back to something very familiar. The third stimulus. It's going to be like third stimulus. Remember third stimulus? When third stimulus became law, I said I can get you about $15,000. The average viewer of this channel got $45,000 for third stimulus. Americans who don't watch this channel got, $600, $1,000 from third stimulus. And they did not know that there was all this other money in there to be gotten. So it looks like it may resemble third stimulus a lot, but the viewership of this channel is going to do really well. The membership, the viewers are going to do really well in the Build Back Better Act. And that people don't watch this channel and just sort of wait around and stare at a bank account and look for a direct deposit on a monthly basis aren't going to be doing well at all, because that's not going to happen. Now, takeaway is that obviously there's a reason why I led with the 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state from Joseph Biden of $100,000. That's a lot more money than the Build Back Better Act. It's a lot more money, and that money is available today. So that's why you go right in this video and become a member right now. You go right on this video right now and get those 4 stimulus checks now in every U.S. state. You don't wait around for the Build Back Better Act, which is not going to pay sums of money like I have for you tonight. It's not going to pay the massive sums of money that you need before a recession hits, if it has not hit already. You get these 4 stimulus checks now, and repeat, now in every U.S. state, by becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Casino VIP. Finally, are your benefits going up? They are. But here's an interesting twist tonight, and I really don't have an opinion of it yet, but I just want to give you the economic data at issue. What if gasoline goes down? Will your benefits still go up as much? Oh boy, this is confusing. If you remember this channel, it's in the membership newsletter. The way the benefits work is a benchmark called COLA. COLA is determined by another benchmark, and that's called the CPI-W. It is a component of the CPI, inflation. In May, we saw the CPI come in high because gasoline was high. And at that time, the Social Security chief actuary, Steve Goss, said, your benefits are definitely going up 8% based upon that May read, but I got to wait to July, August, September to see the confirmed number. In the last few weeks, even up to Thursday's breaking news from the Atlanta Fed GDP Now, I said that gasoline is still going to track higher. If you're in the camp of LALATE and Goldman Sachs, you believe gasoline is going to go higher. If gasoline is going to go higher, then your CPI-W is going to go higher, and then Goss has undervalued it. Your benefits are likely to go to 9%, not up 8%. If you're in the Citibank part of the equation, where they say gasoline prices are going to fall dramatically, then you're on the other side of the coin. You may be thinking that Goss has overvalued it. Now, remember, Citibank doesn't say $66 a gallon this month, this July, this August, September. They're saying later this year. Confusing? It's a little confusing. The takeaway, it's all in the membership newsletter. It's all in the membership newsletter. Goss is generally accurate on his numbers based upon existing data, but I'm sure he will change it, and when the data comes in the month of July, August, September, we'll have the latest as well. Join me every night on this channel for Evenings LA from the shores of Santa Monica at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Programming continues at 6 o'clock with Countdown, 7 o'clock with Stream Stimulus, 8 o'clock with Extra, 9 o'clock with Sunset, and don't miss LA Live every night at 5:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And get ready for the new LA. It's like nothing you've ever seen. I'll be giving you a preview very, very shortly. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, don't wait to get those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Go right in this video, become a member. Get that Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Casino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful night. Thank you for joining me again. And as always, stay informed, stay focused. Get the money tonight. Don't wait. And stay with LA for more.